Hello friends and happy holidays! Unless it's not the holidays when you're watching this. This past year was a pretty big one for lost media. I mean, the most mysterious song on the internet was finally identified and we got the good ending. It's awesome! Now, this video right here is focusing on a different umbrella of lost media. Or rather, found media. That being, found media from Japan. This year had an incredible amount of it, ranging from partially found to fully found stuff. So, in a similar fashion to blame it on Jorge's annual found media videos, a series I actually help out in writing, I'm doing my own video exclusive to the Japanese stuff. This video would be nothing if it wasn't for the help of my friend EcoRep, who is an irreplaceable part of the lost media community. Anyways, that's it. Let's get started. Yokai Watch Chocobar commercials. Yokai Watch is a game series developed by Level 5. The games were especially popular during the 2010s, particularly during the 3DS era, though Yokai Watch games are still made to this very day. Oh, there's also an anime. The first opening is fire. Anyways, the lost media in question is a series of commercials for Jibanyan's Chocobar, an in-game candy sold in real life from 2014 to 2017. These ads were 15 seconds long and once up on Bandai's YouTube channel, until they were removed when the product was discontinued. On January 2nd of this year, all ads aside from one that was released on October 10th of 2015 were found by user PK Poyo Poyo. Devil Day Story. This is a mysterious film discovered of a movie that was not even known to exist in the first place. The discovery and plot of the whole thing is so bizarre that I want to make a dedicated video on it in the future. Anyways, Devil Day Story is a super obscure Japanese film from 1983. It was so under the radar that it didn't appear anywhere online at all. But then came an unsuspecting 16mm print, randomly emerging on a Japanese auction site. The print was snagged by film archivist FM Town Marty Mcflies, who got help from Keene Video to restore and digitize the entire movie, as well as translate it, a dedicated effort that took 2 years. But now, anyone can watch this strange little journey into a random dude's uneventful life. Keep in mind, this movie is for mature audiences only. It is not intended for kids. On January 6th, this long-forgotten piece was uploaded in full. Earthworm Jim Japanese Windows 95 port. Yeah, before anyone says it, Earthworm Jim is an American game series originally developed by Laguna Beach-based developer Shiny Entertainment. The lost medium in question here is actually the Japanese version ported to Windows 95 computers. This port was highly sought after for quite some time. While the Earthworm Jim series saw a number of releases in Japan, the first game was thought to only see a Japanese release on the Super Famicom, published by Takara. Even Wikipedia states this, with no mention of the Japanese Windows 95 port, which was published by NEC. Needless to say, this version is pretty rare, but thanks to user Sparkster Gaming, who obtained this release, as well as the uploader TeddyRoo12, the full ROM was provided to the Internet Archive on January 28th. Hazedon. Hazedon is a cute little Showa-era anime comedy series that aired for about a year between 1972 and 1973. This 26-episode anime is about a fish named Hazedon. Hazedon wants to be the strongest fish in Japan, and the series follows his training arc as he befriends a mermaid and a pufferfish. Hazedon has only one home video release, a VHS from the 90s that only contained the first and last episode, so yeah, most of the series became lost. Manga and pop-up books were serialized alongside Hazedon's airing, which shed light on the plot and episodes of the anime itself. The last episode was uploaded online in 2022, but those missing 25 episodes were found floating around online via a private anime tracker and subsequently uploaded to Manga on January 30th. Ai no Uta music video. This is a song used in commercials promoting the first Pikmin game released to the GameCube in 2001. This song, by Japanese group Strawberry Flower, was extremely popular and even outsold the game itself. A music video for the song was recorded and shown on Japanese TV. Information surrounding the video itself is extremely sparse, but we do know that the video itself was shot on September 26, 2001. The music video was originally uploaded to YouTube by a user named Saihate4250 back in 2018, but was swiftly removed by the Recording Industry Association of Japan. After a bit of a search, the video was recovered once more and uploaded to YouTube again by user Moonbeam, with the help of the owner of a site called YouTube Video Finder. This happened on February 3rd. Donald Keene Manuscript. Okay, so Donald King was a scholar, historian, teacher, writer, and translator. A man from America, born in 1922, who was fascinated by Japan and its culture. He was a friend to famous writers like Yukio Mishima and Kobo Abe. Keen's appreciation for Japan provided a plethora of works, particularly books and articles. Keene passed away in 2019 and left behind quite the legacy. It wasn't until this year that a fascinating unreleased piece was released, initially discovered by Keen's son in December of 2023. The The recovered piece is a manuscript titled Japan After 37 Years, recounting Keene's time living in Kyoto during the 1950s. The 32-page work was submitted to a literary magazine in 1990, but never accepted by the publication. The manuscript is raw and humorous and provides an extremely rare look at being a foreigner living in Japan during the 1950s. It was provided by the Donald King Memorial Foundation on February 5th. Mighty Space Miners. Mighty Space Miners is a really cool science fiction anime OVA released back in 1995. Produced by KSS Inc., this ill-fated OVA was planned to be 6 episodes in total, though only 2 were ever created. The anime itself is pretty good and had every right to have been finished, but it never got to see its conclusion. Mighty Space Miners was released outside of Japan by ADV Films and even dubbed in English. This English dub saw a VHS release in 1985 but was wiped from its distributor's webpage in 2004. This elusive release would not surface again until February 4th, when it was uploaded to the Internet Archive by Louis Zong, who is a talented musician and animator, by the way. Kare Raisu. Daiyo Daiyo. This Lostwave topic is a song heard on a Japanese radio station in November of 2023. A snippet was provided by user McKitty to What's That Song in hopes of identifying the song. It's an interesting song, pretty catchy, but also very wacky in its composition. Some even accuse the song of being made by AI just because it's so out there. Anyways, in what I like to call a Lostwave speedrun, the song was successfully identified in only 90 days. Identified as Daiyo Daiyo by Kare Raisu by WTZ Fan. Boku no Koi. Boku no Koi? Which means My Love, is an obscure little OVA from 1994 by Hiroshi Harada, known for working on an abundance of mainstream anime from the 80s up until 2012. Boku no Koi is notorious for being an extremely rare anime and very difficult to find and watch. That changed on February 24th when the full 10-minute short was uploaded to YouTube by David Hartman. Now please keep in mind before you look it up, there are flashing lights in this anime. Do not look it up if you are sensitive to these types of visuals. Akuma ga Kitarite fue o fuku. This is a mysterious film reel discovered of a movie that was not even known to exist in the first place. Again! Well, kind of. Described by Toei as a discovery close to that of a miracle, this film was thought to have been lost or destroyed decades ago. Translating to The Devil Comes to Play the Flute, this movie was part of a detective film series starring a modernized Kosuke Kindachi, a famous fictional detective that spanned 6 films from 1947 and 1956. The found film in question here was released in 1954. The movie script was previously available, which allowed film archivists to understand the plot. The reels were discovered by Professor Naotaka Yamaguchi on February 25th, who believes this copy was originally shown at theaters. It miraculously survived and is in great condition for its age. Now, while the discovery has been made, the footage is still in the process of being restored and transferred for viewing. 2 of the 6 films in this detective series remain lost. Astro Boy Episodes 125 and 127. Astro Boy, or Mighty Atom in short, is the anime that started it all. Created by Osamu Tezuka, the father of anime, Astro Boy's humble beginnings in black and white led to remakes as well as a computer-animated film. Back in the 1960s, when the anime was still airing, Japanese television programs were not properly archived. 2 casualties of this were thought to be episodes 125 and 127, episodes that are considered holy grails to fans. These reels were uncovered by chance and are now restored and airing on Japanese TV for the first time in over 50 years. 1 episode still remains lost from the original 1963 anime, that one being episode 139. Doraemon, Ken-chan's Adventure. Doraemon is another long-running anime staple, one with a lot of lost media. Luckily, one of these lost pieces was found this year, that being a 1980 short known as Ken-chan's Adventure. Produced by the National Welfare Foundation for the Physically and Mentally Handicapped, the short was screened at various locations in Japan. The special featured a disabled classmate of the main cast named Ken-chan. It also aired on TV one time in 1981 and was highly praised for its efforts in making the special enjoyable for those with disabilities. Examples of this include special captions being hard-coded onto the master footage to aid those who were hearing impaired. Doraemon's voice actress praised the special and wished for it to be rebroadcasted due to its importance. Some significant finds were made on March 2nd when Twitter user VHSLoveVHS uploaded over a minute of footage from the special, as well as the end credits obtained through a VHS rip of the 1981 broadcast. Cave Story Builds. Also known as Dokutsu Monogatari, this is a 2004 freeware platformer initially released to Windows computers by a Japanese indie developer known as Pixel. this game saw enhanced releases on the Wii, 3DS, etc., the humble beginnings are integral to the overall success of Cave Story. Despite this, the earliest incarnations of Cave Story are lost media. Luckily, some early builds were recently uncovered after 2 decades. Cave Story 0.9.0.8 and 0.9.1.3 pre-release versions were found on March 7th, courtesy of Twitter user Aqua Does Stuff. Ryukyu Kingdom Artifacts. These are 22 miscellaneous artifacts from Okinawa that were completely lost for over 80 years. The whereabouts were unknown but were recently uncovered within a private residence in Boston, Massachusetts. These pieces were discovered to be within the FBI's database for stolen art, reported by family members who discovered these artifacts within the home of a late relative. On March 15th, all artifacts were returned to Okinawa with the help of the FBI and the Smithsonian. Takeshi's Castle Episodes. If you watched a lot of Spike TV or G4 during the 2000s, you've likely seen the show in some form. Takeshi's Castle is a Japanese game show created and hosted by comedian and Yakuza film director Takeshi Kitano from 1986 to 1990. The show aired on TBS, and while home video releases do exist, some episodes fell through the cracks and became lost. Dedicated fans have been able to locate and preserve these missing episodes and upload them to the Internet Archive. On March 31st of this year, 2 original VHS recordings of episodes with original commercials were uploaded by Dirkman96. Under this season. The first of a few lost Vocaloid songs found this year is a Hatsune Miku track called Kono Kisetsu no Moto de, or Under the Season. This 2008 song is unique because it was distributed through a magazine called the Vocaloid CV01. The song itself, complete with assets used to create it, were in a DVD with tutorials showing how the song itself was created using Vocaloid software and Miku's voice bank. The song was found on April 9th, thanks to the combined efforts of users Hatsune Uploads, Deisiko, and Mandragora P. Compyu Movie. Osamu Sato is an artist, photographer, and composer. He has a dedicated following and is known for his surreal digital compositions. He also has a bit of lost media. Compyu Movie is a fascinating and rare little VHS release. It's a series of music videos released in 1994, only obtainable through mail order via TierArt, the company that directly distributed it. No copies were known to surface for sale, and Sato himself no longer had a copy. On April 27th, the full tape was uploaded online thanks to members of the Osamu Sato Discord server securing one of these rare tapes. Yume demo ikara. Here's a search I've been very involved in. With that said, it brings me immense joy to be able to include this. Now, to clarify, this is not the Akiba tape. Fly Away has not been identified yet, though this could potentially aid the identification of the Akiba tape song. You see, this song was discovered on a cassette tape owned by the original poster who purchased the tape containing Fly Away. This tape, with the word Wagamama written on it, was similar in appearance to the Akiba tape, and was purchased at the very same store in Akihabara that the Akiba tape had come from. After OP shared audio of the song on the Wagamama tape, a new search came about. Because this song also couldn't be identified, Wagamama was uploaded to YouTube, where Japanese comments started showing up. Comments that claimed that this song was called Even If It's Just a Dream by Yasuko Naito. Naito's version was discovered to be a cover. Ultimately, thanks to the efforts of the Akiba Tape Research Discord server, the song was identified as Even If It's Just a Dream, or Yume Demo Ikara, by Sara Minase. Dental Hygiene. This is a 100-year-old animation from the early 20s that was recently unearthed and restored. Titled Dental Hygiene, this 8-minute short was commissioned by a maker of Japanese daily necessities, and instructed the viewer on how to keep their teeth healthy. This find is among the oldest surviving anime and was revealed via NHK on May 6th. Love Tonight. We got another Lostwave find! This year's been so great for Lostwave stuff, I love it. Oh my god, no freaking way. On January of 2023, What's That Song user Blue Pleasure uploaded a portion of this song. No further details were provided aside from this clip and a time frame and suspected genre. This track sounded a bit like city pop, which led people to look into it further. Users searched far and wide, and a user eventually came forward after finding the song on Nico Nico Doga. The track came from a stock music compilation album from the early 90s. The track is called Moon Hunter, but the vocalist on the track is not identified at all. They remain unidentified, but the song title and source are identified. And that's not the only thing they identified. If everyone knows that wasn't enough, the song was also used in an adult film as the main theme of a 1994 work titled Macho Box. Efforts to identify the artist further continued, with those involved suspecting someone named Siadamo as being the artist. All that aside, the compilation CD was uploaded in full to NND and YouTube by user Kamisawa on May 8th. Yamato battleship footage. The Yamato battleship was active throughout World War II and was Japan's most impressive ship within the Imperial Japanese Navy, as well as the biggest battleship in the world at that point in time. The ship was ultimately sunk by American ships in August of 1945. Video of the ship in 1945 is particularly scarce, but 88 seconds of color footage recorded between February and August of that year were recently found and provided by a war history group in Oita Prefecture. The footage was publicly revealed on May 18th at Kyokakuji Temple in Usa of Oita. Catnapped OST. Neko no Kuni Banpal Wit, known in English as Catnapped, is an anime film released in 1995, known for its imaginative and surreal visuals. I mean, the guy who directed Akira and the guy who wrote for Serial Experiments Lanes were up in here. That's a really awesome combo. The film was never lost, though the soundtrack to this film, released by Toshiba EMI, was lost for quite some time. It's a pretty rare release, but despite the difficulty of locating a copy, LMW user Emperor was able to do so and uploaded the full soundtrack on May 14th. Astro Boy 2009 Dev Test. See, I didn't mention the CG Astro Boy anime movie earlier for nothing. How's that for foreshadowing? Okay, this movie is basically a modern retelling, and it has Nicolas Cage. While produced in Hong Kong and the United States, its source material is Japanese, so it made the list. On May 29th, an early dev test was uploaded to YouTube by Colin Brady. This test shows a potential different direction that the film could have gone in. Mon Cherie Coco scenes. Among the most infamous lost anime out there is Mon Cherie Coco, a 1972 anime based on the 1971 shoujo manga of the same name that follows a girl named Coco who aims to be a fashion designer. Produced by Nippon TV, the anime faced a number of production issues, including the resignation of the producer and financial setbacks. The anime only lasted for 13 episodes, and while it was rerun periodically up until 1990, no VHS recordings of any episodes have ever surfaced. Brief clips of the opening, audio of the ending theme, and newspaper articles were uncovered. Arguably, the biggest find didn't come about until June 17th and 20th of this year. This was when Twitter user Video VHS shared clips thought to be of episodes 1, 3, 5, and 13. The first time actual episode contents have ever been seen. Well, in about 30 years, give or take, but you get the point. And my god, they're beautiful. VFS01 Ring. I talked about Ing Suzume a little while back. She's an unreleased Vocaloid character voice bank that was the outcome of a contest held in 2011. The contest allowed fans the opportunity to design a Vocaloid character that would later be released. Ring had a release date of winter 2011, and a demo of her voice bank was released. A video game that Ring would star in, called VFS01 Ring, was also announced. Following numerous delays, Ring Suzume and her game were never released. It was in June that Andy P., a Vocaloid producer, was able to get in contact with a Twitter user who had the game in their possession. The files have now been uploaded online, but the game itself is not currently playable. Xevious Anime Trailer. Xevious is a 1982 arcade shooter by Namco. In 2002, Namco was in contact with a company known as Groove Corporation in order to create a CG anime adaptation of Xevious. The film was teased at anime fairs, but many were skeptical due to a lot of the animators not having very much experience in the industry. The film was completed and even shown during the Summer Roadshow Festival in Japan. Xevious was planned to release on VHS and DVD on September 25th of 2002. But that didn't happen, and this is where things get a little goofy. Groove Corporation is now defunct. Why? Well, according to legend, the head of Groove Corporation mysteriously vanished one day, taking all the company funds and masters of the films with them. And so the film went unreleased. On June 7th, the YouTuber R&D Stranger had uploaded a minute-long trailer of the anime that was discovered on a Groove Corporation promotional disc. As far as the movie itself, finding it really depends on if anyone actually recorded that Summer Roadshow Festival showing. AO, or AU. Back in 1983, Koei Tecmo was working on a shoot-'em-up game called AO. The game had a test run in September of that year, but it didn't catch on and was quietly shelved. Fast forward to 2011, and a broken game board was found in a Koei Tecmo warehouse, which led to a temporary arcade cabinet being set up for use in 2014. On June 20th, AO was provided in full on HB Mame, thanks to an anonymous contributor who shared the ROM online. Make Me Cute Doll, full image. This is an infamous internet horror image in both Japan and outside it. Known originally as Kawaiiku Sasete, this image was introduced to Chuchan with the challenge of making her look cute. This heavily edited image of a doll launched the search to locate images of the original doll itself, before all the edits. Back in 2021, Japanese YouTube channel The Tubero was able to obtain the original image of the doll from a viewer, which came from an old auction listing for the doll itself. This wasn't the end of the search though, as users began looking for that original auction link and potentially more photos. It was on June 20th that they got them, and they were shared publicly by the Tubero once again, including this image of the full doll from a different angle. Godzilla 2014, Akira Takarada cameo. This is a scene from the 2014 Godzilla film that kicked off Warner Bros. Monsterverse. This film had an important scene cut from its final release, a cameo by Akira Takarada, star of the original 1954 Godzilla. This tragedy quickly became public knowledge, sparking frustration and demands for its release. Eventually, on June 24th, the full scene was included in the Monsterverse 4K Blu-ray collection, giving fans the moment they waited a decade to see. Reiko Takahashi's Lost Song. Reiko Takahashi is a city pop era artist who saw a very brief career during the late 80s, with only 2 singles released between 1986 and 1987. Takahashi didn't make much of a splash in the music industry at the time. Sales were poor, and Takahashi quietly left the spotlight in 1987. Her music is beloved by city pop enjoyers nowadays. One of her songs was lost media for a bit, an English version of Sunset Road. Now, to my knowledge, this English version was only available on the cassette tape version of the Sunset Road single, a release that is very rare and very pricey. On July 3rd, after a Reddit user from the city pop community obtained a cassette copy from an online auction, the full English version as well as a karaoke instrumental version were uploaded to the Reiko Takahashi Central YouTube channel. Zelda Gaiden beta trailer. Zelda Gaiden was the original form to the sequel to 1998's Ocarina of Time. While the game did eventually become Majora's Mask, the very early builds of Majora's Mask itself are often considered its own thing due to various differences that could indicate a difference in plot and characters. Footage of Gaiden is scarce, sourced only through the 1999 Space World showing and magazines, until now that is, as this year saw an especially cool and substantial look at Gaiden that we didn't have before. This trailer, obtained from a promotional VHS labeled Nintendo's new software lineup 2000 by YouTuber Aitsui Generis, was uploaded to YouTube on July 5th. The VHS itself contains a plethora of pre-release footage, including stuff from the Oracle games as well as interesting titles from other series. Takeshi Morishima WWE Tryouts. This is a landmark match involving Japanese wrestler Takeshi Morishima, originally from Pro Wrestling Noah, a short-lived wrestling promotion founded by the late great Mitsuhara Misawa. Morishima was in this tryout match back in 2008. The Japanese wrestler was pitted against Jamie Noble and Charlie Haas. This match is what's called a dark match, meaning it was never televised and simply meant to test out new talents, and to get the crowd going before the broadcast actually began. The WWE Vault shared the full 10-minute match on July 9th. Fabre's Book of Insects Anime Illustrations. Yoshikazu Yasuhiko is a prominent name in the anime industry, known for his direction and character design for the original Mobile Suit Gundam anime. Now, Fabre's Book of Insects was originally a 1921 book by an etymologist explaining the behavior of insects. Back in the 90s, animation company Sunrise was holding a contest to decide who could be in charge of character design for an anime adaptation involving Fabre and his work. The anime itself was never released, and we don't know what happened with the contest. But on July 14th, Yasuhiko's illustrations were uploaded by Mad Angle Press, who was granted permission to archive the works. Sweet Slave Comedy. This is a Vocaloid song created with Utao, a free alternative to Vocaloid that lets users create songs for free. Back in 2013, an Utao song called Sweet Slave Comedy popped up on NND. Clocking in at around 3,000 views, this upload was only up for less than a year. On August 27th, the song's video suddenly surfaced again on Bilibili, thanks to a user with a very poetic name that loosely translates to, Rose Rain-Soaked Flower Offering. The kanji's weird. I don't know. Akira Toriyama Manuscript. Hanaka Nakachiho, the creator of Dirty Pair, had recently come across a previously unreleased manuscript created by Akira Toriyama. This manuscript, predating Dragon Ball, was created in the early 80s when Toriyama was just beginning to work on his classic gag manga, Dr. Slump. This piece, that was ultimately rejected, featured a character named Polly Buckets, who would later on be introduced into Dr. Slump as a supporting character. As a matter of fact, part of the manuscript is pretty similar to a panel in Dr. Slump itself. This find was shared publicly to Twitter on September 18th. Air Miku. Initially known as just Air Miku, this is a formerly unidentified Vocaloid track using Hatsune Miku's voice bank. The track was re-uploaded in 2015 by a user named Carlos Asaf, who shared that they did not know the name or producer, but the file itself in their computer was titled Air Miku. A search took off on YouTube and What's That Song, leading to a What's That Song user named Sumiyoshi to identify the track. Turns out, the original upload was never taken down, and that original upload provided the name and artist, identified as Air by Nagisa F. Natsume Soseki letter. Natsume Soseki was a Japanese novelist who published a number of works at the turn of the 20th century, and is considered a literary master of the Meiji era. This year, a brief but incredibly important handwritten letter by Soseki was discovered. This letter, focusing on geology, appears to be a fragment of a larger written work. The whereabouts of the rest of this particular piece, and if they still exist at all, are unknown. After borrowing this piece from the owner, who had won it by chance on an online auction site this past spring, the discovery was shared by the Sendai Broadcasting News channel on October 11th. Crayon Shin-chan Episode 93. Crayon Shin-chan is a popular long-running anime involving a kinda dysfunctional family. I like to describe it as Japan's equivalent to The Simpsons, with Shin-chan himself being Japan's Bart. Anyways, with long-running anime like this, there are often lost episodes. A well-known lost episode of Crayon Shin-chan is episode 93, which only aired once back in 1994. This episode was never rerun, dubbed in any language, or released to home video or streaming. But not for any crazy controversy or lack of preservation. This episode became dated rather quickly, as a section of this episode was promoting a Japanese movie from 1994, one that hadn't come out yet at the time, called The Hidden Treasure of the Buriburi Kingdom. On November 18th, a full broadcast from a Japanese-language Hawaiian station was recovered by Reddit user Seth Sears, who obtained the VHS tape from their parents who had the tape since the 1990s. DIOS CD Rom. DIOS CD Rom is an obscure computer game made for the PC-88, manufactured by NEC. This model of PC is incredibly obscure, and only 2 games were developed for it. While the first game, titled Mirrors, is playable and even has an English patch, the same could not be said for the second game. Zanesoft's DIOS, a 1989 science fiction side-scroller so rare that nobody could even confirm if it saw an actual release, was lost media for quite some time. It wasn't even confirmed to exist at all until 2017. The game itself was finally found and preserved when Krugman of DirtyFloppies.com was able to purchase the game from a Japanese site. The find was announced by YouTube channel Basement Brothers on December 8th. Noah's Ark. Noah's Ark is an obscure Japanese PC game released in 1995. The game is very similar to Myst in visual presentation and gameplay. This game was first brought to people's attention on 4chan when a user came across an old website with a few low-quality images. The game surfaced on online auction sites in the past, but was finally preserved on November 23rd, thanks to Beanstalk Redump. Paper Mario E3 2010 trailer. In 2010, prior to the release of Paper Mario Sticker Star on the 3DS, a trailer to an upcoming Paper Mario game was shown at E3. This footage was only shown on the screens of the 3DS consoles on the show floor, not in any press conferences. When Sticker Star was eventually released, the game was noted as being very different from that trailer shown a little bit earlier. But now you couldn't go back to that trailer and look at it because it was now lost media. This trailer was once again discovered on a 3DS console by YouTuber Mario Nova with the help of user Maxi Bash. It was recovered and uploaded on December 12th. Now we can once again see what could have been. The many found Keitai Games. I wanted to make sure I included this as it involves a really important resource for Japanese lost media. Keitai games, or games made specifically for Japanese Keitai flip phones, often become lost because they predate smartphones. They're pretty much exclusive to Japan. The services they were downloadable on are long gone, and the phones themselves that could have this data, well, who knows where many of them ended up in the past 15 plus years. A good number of Keitai games were recovered this year, including an iMode exclusive Professor Layton game from 2008, 9 Capcom games, which include full RPGs, a Mega Man title, and a Devil May Cry spin-off, and also a full Final Fantasy game. Assets for the infamous lost game before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII, were also uncovered. This was a big year for Keitai lost media, and naming each individual found piece by this community would take a while. It's insane how many of these games are now lost and found. These finds were primarily made by the Keitai wiki community and various preservation teams within it. An excellent resource for knowing what's been archived and the significance of them is Twitter user Rockman Cosmo, who posts updates frequently. The found commercials and PSAs. Yet another great resource for lost media from Japan is the Lost Commercials Wiki. While there's nothing like an LMW in Japan, there is an impressive wiki for lost commercials, since that's a particular genre of lost media that is especially popular there. A A total of 4 previously lost commercials were found this year. The exact details on who found each ad aren't provided on the wiki, unfortunately. The first, found on February 19th, was a 2000 commercial advertising a radio drama CD for an OVA. Pretty niche, I know. Called Nanako Dissection Diagnosis. It became a lost media topic because the ad goes by very fast. It's just rapid-fire random scenes. The second, found on March 3rd, is a series of dancing strawberry commercials for dialing toll-free phone numbers. These aired in the early 90s, then again in the late 2000s. It may not look like it, but this was a big lost media topic in Japan, and the search lasted many years. Some versions are still lost. The third, found on July 16th, was a 2005 commercial for Monthly Shonen magazine. This one's remembered because of a scene involving a female ninja. 2 versions of this ad were found this year, one with English text at the end. The fourth, found on August 23rd, is a 1998 PSA for child safety involving adults carelessly throwing around a doll. For more info on these, or just more information on lost Japanese commercials in general, particularly the big infamous searches currently, definitely check out the Lost Commercials wiki, though keep in mind it is in Japanese. Hey guys, I made this video in 5 days. It took a few all-nighters to get this done, but by gosh, I did it. So because I'm incredibly sleep deprived and also do not feel very good, we're just gonna do audio-only shoutouts this time around. So yeah, if you're new here, this is the time when I do Patreon shoutouts, and I shout out the people who support me on Patreon, so yeah, anyways, huge thank you to Juno Zanelli, Genosis Burns, Rex Drinks Red Bull, Rachel, Vanessa, Raglan Strom, Black Taco 695, Rain Summer, Kyle Hockenberry, Solid Ellipsis, Spencer Lynn, Nomber, Josh Spears, Lauren Hoagland, Joe Woe, Aiden Sexton, J-Man, David Lawrence, Erlyn Kniflot, Gabriel, Connor McLaughlin, Jordan May, Shelfie, Stephen Bride, Creepy Leany, Bill Baker, Gina Britton, Luke Brown, Pigpen, Layla Bloom, Lizard Queen 27, Newt Fruit Shoot, Hex Maniac Hana, Chitoge, Jeremiah BLR, 322-32232, Rora Morasso, Lena SD98, Hada, Meeks, Sidnep, Hosea the Roca, Akali, Red Hoodie 50, Iggs, Eels, C Chameleon, Digital Dubs, Shivam Vashi, Pan Fried Life Jacket Awareness, Stadio VGM, Anegra J. Reese, Argua Bill, Christopher Valencia, PP Pascatag, Andrew Lopena, Mads House, Airfire Grand Tactician, Soko, and Be Shonen Knife. Once again, thank you so much, everyone. I am looking so very forward to all the projects I got coming out next month and next year as a whole, and I hope you look forward to them as well. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Bye for now. Oh, jeez.